It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Liteforex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, 30th of August 2019, it's 2 p.m. CT, 1 p.m. London, and last trading day of the August, right? So it's end of the month, end of the week, and of course that's gonna be end of the day as well. We are about to cover Canadian GDP live, but also we are going to watch a little bit of the eventual price action on the dollar because of the personal spending and personal income. So we will see, of course, the straight pair is USDCAD. So we are going to watch Canadian dollar a little bit closer, especially that if we are going to get the good Canadian data, the Bank of Canada doves, they are not gonna have arguments, right, to try to sound dovish. So from that perspective, that's also very, very interesting. Anyway, before we start, as usual, risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind, trading effects on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain a loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay, so let's have a look what we have on the charts. There you go. Should be fine. Everything should be fine. All right. So let's start, guys, with greenback, with the dollar, and then it's gonna be short because mostly we know what is going on. We are discussing majors every day. Yeah, twice a day, very often. So we know what's going on, but let's have a look. Let's have a look from the higher time frame perspective, right? Let's start with the euro dollar, and let's have a look where we are based on the monthly chart, right? I've been trying to discuss this already yesterday or this morning. Geez, I don't remember. Anyway, ugly shadow, ugly upper shadow. So taking into the consideration the engulf we've seen in July, taking into the consideration price action we've seen in June, right? Overall right now looks like it was just retest, rejection, and going lower, right? Especially that bulls are not able to evacuate and get back above this latest weakness. All right, that's showing that probably I don't want to sound, let me use correct words, still we have like 8 hours, right, to close this monthly chart. So on Monday, probably we are gonna be much more clever. But if we are going to see, simply if the bulls are not gonna be able to push the prices higher, I don't know what kind of the reason they can get. Maybe again weak Chicago PMI later on, maybe whatever, right? But bulls need at least to close around the month open. We are talking about the 1072, 1075, right? Would be good to have just a little bit positive body and close. Would be good to close just a little bit higher, maybe above 1115. Okay, but as of now, it looks very bearish. Looks also very bearish when we are talking about the weekly chart. Okay, that's gonna be the weakest. If we are going to close like this, that's gonna be the lowest close of this year, right? Of course, we saw the lower levels 4 weeks ago, right? Around 1027, but we don't have to take this 1027 today. With this close, that's gonna be the lowest close of this year. Okay. Now, from the daily chart perspective, there was some kind of the hope yesterday because we took out the stops, but the close was above the low from the 23rd of August, right? Today, hope gone, right? So it doesn't look good, and if that's continue 110, we might see the break of 110 later today. It's just 40 pips, guys, right? And if we are going to see that the bulls are running away, we can easily see 109, right? If someone is going to start to liquidate, we might see 109 as well. Okay. But unfortunately, as you know, you're probably aware, there was only one. In my opinion, this week it was only one opportunity, and unfortunately, I missed that one. It was the Tuesday retest of 1115, right? We discussed. And unfortunately, here I missed, right? So it's very negative from the euro perspective. And that's one of the reason we have EURUSD on the monitor, right? So in case of the stronger Canadian dollar, here might be ugly as well. Okay, in case of the stronger Canadian dollar, I may try to use via euro, not greenback, especially if we are going to get the strong both Canadian and US numbers, right? But we will get back here. Next is pound, and all this again Brexit mess is back. As we know, Michał was helping us to get closer to what is going on during our conversations. So let's have a look what we have from the monthly chart perspective here as well. The bulls are fighting for doji at least, right? The bears are fighting for the lowest close of 2019, right? Okay, we get the lowest close compared to what we have to the left previous month, right? It was ugly. Looks like we might see some kind of the doji, and that's gonna be the hope, but bears are gonna to argue that all right, the similar situation we have in June, and then July was strong, so low. So let's make it right. Let's sell this pound off. Okay. So monthly, probably we are going to many things here might depend on what's going to happen on euro pound. All right. Especially if at some point euro pound will fall below 90 and close below 90. I'm not saying it's going to happen today. At least I'm not saying yet. We are trading 90.60, so still 60 pips to go. but it might as long as 90 holds here on the cable, it might get uglier from the bull's perspective, right? Now, when we are talking about the medium-term perspective, you know, I'm not totally not a Elliott wave guy, all right? I just count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm not Elliott wave guy, but there's clear 5 waves to the downside, right? Wave to the downside, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now, if that was the correction, so the minimal, in my opinion, we are not done yet to the downside, right? I think that, yeah, something close to 115. 110 also is possible long term. We will see if the bulls can hold 120 and escape this very dovish scenario. From the weekly chart perspective, I have to make the cleanings one day. From the weekly chart perspective, all right, looks like the fight is right now about the what happened 3 weeks ago, right? We go to 3 weeks ago, and we are talking about this upper shadow. From the intraday perspective, we are also discussing this stuff. That's the Monday low, and I think that's what the fight is for, right? To try to close above this Monday low and the high 3 weeks ago we've seen, right? That was this kind of the breakout point here. In case of the move below 21.35, all right, that's the, I think also from the intraday perspective, that's the last line of the defense. Probably we are going to revisit levels towards 2080 where some stops are, and if we are going to be here, probably we are going to retest 120, and bears will look for more liquidity below, right? Anyway, daily chart, and that's what we are talking. The latest weakness we've seen from the daily chart, that's what bulls trying to hold here, right? So that's what we discussed on the weekly as well, right? On the other hand, bears using the top of the channel as a good excuse to push prices lower, especially what happened 3 days ago with this upper shadow we were discussing, and we were talking about the possible short pound. As you've seen yesterday, I've been short pound as well, so from that perspective it was good. I was at some point I was quite positive about the pound, but I wouldn't say I'm very bearish, but yeah, I can't see right now some positives on the horizon for the cable right now, at least for now, right? So intraday perspective, yeah, still 21.35. That's what we might see the bottom of this demand from previous Friday. Am I right? No, it was not. That was Thursday, from the Thursday, I'm sorry. So we will see, because that's for me, as you can see, weekly, daily, that the last line of the defense, in my opinion. We are very close. It's Friday. Well, we will see, right? I'm not in rush here to try to trade the pound. I've got still 2 levels I'm watching, because if you remember, there is a still possibility that market may want to consolidate a little bit longer. We have our own template, some kind of the fractals we discussed. The truth is that we fall below this possible consolidation we've seen here. It's a little bit lower right now, okay? So it might not work the way we discussed. Anyway, my 2 selling levels right now, levels close to 22.25 and then again 22.5065 closer to the weekly open, and those stops, probable stops around here, right? So either around the Monday low towards 22.25 or spike higher towards 22.5065. So that's how I see the cable, right? Dollar yen, bears trying to get back below Monday high, all right? But let's do similar stuff as we did with euro and cable, meaning let's check monthly, all right? And the good thing is, from the buyer's perspective, that we are trying to build quite nice shadow, right? Lower shadow. It might be treated as a stop count based on this swing low here, right? Just to test the demand we've seen post US election, right? So it doesn't look bad. That's what I from the buyer's perspective. If we can close above Monday high, if we can close above the open in April 2018, we might still have a chance to activate this demand, right? And if you remember, we were talking 107, 107.30 is possible supply, but I'm not gonna be surprised if we are going to see levels close to 109, right? That's what we discussed for quite a few times already lately. So from that perspective, this lower shadow, well, doing the job right, at least right now, but still 8 hours to go. So guys, you know, we can try to confirm this on Monday. Okay, now from the weekly chart perspective, it could be outside week, right? Incredible outside week. It would be good to close a little bit higher. Would be good to engulf the full range of the previous week, all right, and close above. That would be strong signal. And yeah, and we might see retest of this swing high, the levels close to 109. We discuss it. Okay, so it's better visible from the weekly chart perspective. Of course, it's also better visible what happened this week. It was this stop count and reaction within the big demand zone which has been created after the US election. Daily, the Monday sell-off at the very beginning of the day, if you remember, so, and then push higher. So that's right now we had a stop count to the downside, right? So if we had a stop run to the downside, meaning that we have to see the stop run to the upside, and that's what we discussed. Okay, Friday high, 13th of August high, 6th of August high, all here the possible liquidity pools, right, to push us towards 107, 107.30, where the supply resides in my opinion. Okay, so watching dollar yen carefully, probably because of the end of the month. I'm not sure if I want to be involved here. All right, intraday supply been tested yesterday. Okay, we have some kind of the profit taking since then, but not sure today, but more to come, probably more to come. Okay, so yeah, that's how I see the three majors from the higher time frame perspective. Both euro dollar and pound suggest we might see still stronger dollar, and dollar yen still have a little bit of the space to try to push higher. So might be that the beginning of the September still might be good for the dollar bulls, especially the expectations in regards to the FOMC right? If you remember, we had this pressure previously. Yeah, FOMC 50 basis points cut and stuff like this. Probably we are going to see President Trump activity closer to the FOMC meeting, of course. But the market expectations currently, yesterday we've checked this. It was less than 4% when we are talking about the 50 basis cut, right? So the pressure is a little bit off. All right, so Canadian dollar, a very interesting situation, also from the higher time frame perspective. I have to make the cleaning here, sorry guys. Very interesting because we are building upper shadow. So look, strong dollar and bulls, dollar bulls got the problem with Canadian dollar, right? So it's showing that might be also very interesting. The very interesting September might be very interesting from Canadian dollar perspective as well, right? And it's gonna be visible in a second. It's gonna be very well visible on the Euro Canadian dollar as well. Anyway, I think that the best what the bulls here might try to do is to create some kind of the range trading on the monthly chart. So to the downside 130, to the upside 37, all right? So seven figure range trading on the Canadian. But I do understand what bears wants to do. Very low close, right? June, very low close. July, attempt to rally after the failure around 130. August, attempt to rally, but guess what? 50% of that June range is working right now. It's also bottom of the May, right? So this 33.50 is a key here. So if we can get strong close, I can't see this strong close, to be honest with you. But if we can get the monthly close above 33.50, 33.70, that might be the range I've been talking about. So we might reopen 37, right? But if we are going to fail here, I think we are going to see one more time attempt to break down through 130 as soon as September eventually. Now, if you remember, we were covering Canadian CPI. Wasn't bad, right? So somewhere in my head there is a way of thinking that simply the Bank of Canada doves may not have arguments to try to sound dovish, right? Of course, outside Canada, right? The clouds, dark clouds, are growing. The only thing I'm scary is, of course, Canadian housing market. That might be domino over there. But as of now, it's not that bad. So yeah, it's not the first choice to try to short Canadian dollar. We are going to watch USDCAD because we have the Canadian and US data. All right. Now let's switch to the weekly chart. There was an attempt to push the cross lower because this 33.50 3 weeks in a row we couldn't break through. So there was an attempt to push a bit lower, and still think we might see levels a little bit lower. In case of the strong lower shadow and the positive close, something similar to what we've seen a week ago, that might be the sign that as early as next week, bulls may try 33.50 again, right? So if we can go and move through the weekly open and push a little bit higher, close to 33.50, yeah, as early as next week, as Monday, might be very interesting. Of course, because Canadian dollar is a commodity currency. Of course, the risk on sentiment is the best environment for this currency, right? Because when there is a risk of sentiment, when market is selling off everything, that Canadian dollar might be in trouble. But in that case, when we have the risk of sentiment, switching to trying to trade commodity currencies versus commodity currencies might be the case, right? Like Canadian Kiwi, Canadian Aussie. Anyway, very challenging times for the last 4 weeks, right? We will see what we are going to get post-Canadian, especially post-Canadian data. So yeah, as you can see from the daily chart, so it's the 3350 is very important from the monthly, weekly, and here, as you can see, from daily as well, right? So definitely worth to watch. Now, trying to make it from the daily chart perspective, that's the first 3250 as the first line of the defense possible in case of the swing low creation. All right, if you can visualize this. Then we have levels close to Tuesday low, all right, 3225, and again 32 level, the round numbers. To the upside, 3350, that's the most important level. So let's switch to the hourly chart here, and there is market is looking towards lower levels, as you can see. Nice round top creation, right? So we will see. So let's have a look what we have on the EURUSDCAD monthly chart, and the bears are going to fight, definitely in my opinion. Bears are going to fight for the break of the monthly open. In that case, we are talking about we are talking about the 4607 monthly open, 4607. There you go. Because if we are going to break that level, so look to the left. So huge opportunity for sellers today, but first we have to break down. Second, we have to hold towards the end of the month, end of the week, and end of the day. This level previously provided plenty of support, right? There was an attempt to break lower, close higher, attempt to break lower, close higher, retest, run away, right? Couldn't break, rejection, right? Here as well. So looks like very important 46, and the break through that level, of course, immediately market will look for the low we've seen on the September 2017. We are talking about the 4440, but I would say that we are going to retest levels close to 141 and 140. All right, guys, daily chart, we are testing demand, right? Some might even think about possible squeeze, right? We'll see. We've got like 5 seconds. I'm going to wait for a dust to settle, and we will see what next we can do. Stronger, push, but have to check if it's because of the Canadian data or it's because of the dollar. data. So we retest first demand to the point based on the daily chart. 30 to 50 tested. Personal income weak, spending much better than expectation. So it's not about the US data. It's probably about the Canadian data. US PCE July in line. I'm going to put everything into the chat window, no worries. So the GDP month to month 0.2 versus 0.1. GDP annualized 3.7. Forecast was 3. Good one. Here. Industrial product price here is negative. But I think this one is monster. The personal income is weak, even with the revision after the revision of the previous reading. US personal income is weak, so you know spending is good, but you cannot spend much more if your income is lower. What do you expect in the long run, right? So that's 46, crucial, and all these shadows below are crucial. The 4607 probably is going to be tested just from the over-under perspective, maybe. You know, we are too close to try to chase this market to the short side right now. Either wait for a little bit of the spike higher or wait for the breakout retest and continuation. We have quite good sentiment. And that wouldn't be. But it's it's the end of the month. It might be completely different as early as Monday. But Canadian versus Japanese yen. in case of the continuation of that sentiment at the beginning of the September. So here might be the case, especially that we are trying to hold this 80 psychological level, been tested twice from the intraday perspective lately, right? Once when we got back, retest higher. But that's 80-30. I think that's what bulls have to take out. SAP. You know, similar situation to what we discussed with dollar yen. We had this stop run to the downside. Probably we are going to see stop run to the upside. So let's have a look. Let's get back to EURUSD. Let's watch for a second this 4607. That's why I would be very careful around trying to chase that one here, right? I would be careful here. I'm not saying we are not going to break that level. What I'm saying that me personally, I have not enough money to break that level, right? If I would have enough money, I would chase that market, right? Because it would be me who is moving the market. So breaking 07, we might end up at 45. What was the bigger correction? A little bit of the movement on the dollar yen, so for sure it's not helping to CAD yen. That was big, a little bit bigger, but then it was like this. That was a little bit bigger. All right, so what we might want to do, this one was bigger, and let's change the color a bit, because this one was like this. Yeah, and this one was here. So yeah, let's wait for this 46 and let's see if we can retest, because here is the nice supply. Then and that would work that way. I can't complain. you can work that way. Yeah. So that's my trading plan for EURUSD. I'm not saying we are going to see this today, right? What I'm saying is that I'm not in a rush. Why should I sell at support, right? Uninformed traders are selling at support and buying at resistance. So that's the plan for EURUSD. Be patient. And we might see eventually bounce in case of the rally on USDCAD, right? So here, from the intraday perspective, I would watch this pre-data high. Because if we are going to get back above this level, we might see rally higher, we might see some profit taking ahead of the end of the month, end of the week, end of the day. Some guys have to clear the books ahead of the weekend. Because you know, when you, spike down as a reaction on the data, right? But then, if you can try 1, 2, 3 times and you cannot break, then on Friday, definitely some guys may want to try to go opposite way by taking profits, right? We will see. We were supposed to finish after 45 minutes, but we will wait toward the top of the hour, and let's have a look how the early chart will looks like, and then decides about the correction to the plan, and eventually if there is something we can do. I'm going to mute my microphone right now, and let's watch if anything is going on. I will start talking again. All right, guys, we are approaching top of the hour, so let's try to summarize. Good Canadian data. Whatever we want to say, we have to put the word is good. So there is a chance for Canadian dollar. My selling area versus US dollar is between 32.80 and the weekly open 32.90, 75 to 95. That might be the selling area. EURUSD, I'm waiting patiently for levels close to 46.80, 47. Maybe the plan we created right after the data is going to work out. Euro dollar, if the problem is that it's everything today is going to the end, right? Like month, week, day. Depends where we are going to be, as we discussed. But break of this previous Friday low, that's the first supply right now. And maybe from the intraday perspective, at some point, but before, you don't want to see this after, before London fix. If we are going to clean this Tokyo high to look for looking for liquidity and reject, if we are going to see the rejection, that might be the sign that we might see break of 110 today. So I'm going to watch carefully over the course of the day later for the next 2 hours to see if we can spike here and if we are going to get rejection, right? Somewhere close to 1065, 1075. Okay, maybe some kind of a spike after, I don't know, President Trump tweet or whatever. But rejection is needed, right? I'm not gonna wait with the order. I wanna see clean of this Tokyo high and then rejection move back below. Okay, with very tight stop. I don't wanna hold, stay with this position over the weekend unless we are going to be with 109. So then I'm gonna be able to take partially some profits, and then with the stop I can eventually leave it, right? So the only way I see euro dollar right now, cable not touching. The fight might be might go on the euro pound. So cable I'm not touching today. A little bit strange behavior here on dollar yen. I'm surprised. I thought that we see the spike higher. So either we have a pulling back to try to accumulate more and spike post next US data, or something is cooking and we don't know what, right? But looks strange at the top of the hour. It looks strange and looks like we got back below Monday high. That's strange as well, and that might cause trouble for buyers towards end of the month. Well, I think also there was a chance after yesterday rejection. There was a chance for the Chinese yuan and overall risk on sentiment with move back below 714. It didn't happen yet, and yeah, that's the retest. The flag didn't work out, but ideal retest. And today, well, depends where we are going to get the close. I'm not gonna be surprised if we close higher towards 718, and that might produce a bit of the risk of sentiment at some point. Indices, clean window dressing, huge manipulation. That's what we discussed for last few days. Gold, I'm prepared to the plan we were discussing, right? That I want to see the stop count here and move back. So we have a stop count, and if we are going to hold till Monday, I might try longs, right? So it's another consolidation, stop count below the bottom of the consolidation. So probably we might see higher levels, but not today. I'm not watching gold today, as well as I'm not touching oil today. I want to see Riley with upper shadow towards the end of the day, and then Monday might be mine. Okay. So guys, that's how I see the things. Not in rush, especially that it's tough to trade last trading day of the month, week, and stuff like this. Don't forget that once Europe is at home, right, the big US guys will try to play the game towards the end of the month. It was my pleasure to be with you here over the whole August. More to come in September. So wish you great weekend. Recharge your battery. I promise you that market will work again late Sunday, early Monday, depends on your zone. And I'm back on Monday with usual pre-London Open. Then we have some UK data as well, probably. We have bank holiday, so for US guys it's a long weekend. That's another reason you don't want to be trapped today, so be careful. So that's it, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Recharge the battery, and see you on Monday. Have a good one. Goodbye.